Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we are looking at the carpet set for the Triumph TR4A, TR5, TR250 and TR6 models. So we've got the main cockpit cabin area, nothing to do with the boot trunk, that is sold completely separately, and do see videos at the end related to those items here. This is purely for the main cockpit cabin, but I've also included some hardware items that you may or may not require depending on the level of your restoration. So I'll go over all of these individually. Like I say, this carpet set is specific to the TR4A up until the end of the TR6 production era. It is not applicable to the TR4. They are different. There are some kind of crossover pieces, should we say, but it's significantly different that you shouldn't really consider this one for the TR4. So please do see our other video showing the TR4 if you have that. But any TR4A, TR5, 250 or 6 owners, this works for you. This specific carpet set has been done in wool, so it's a premium grade automotive carpet. We can also offer a nylon, however we do really strongly recommend that people use wool for the main cockpit cabin area. Nylon's great for sort of boot trunk areas that don't sort of have high wear and tear, or obviously for people that are really working to a tight budget. But even those guys, I'd really encourage people to consider wool. It's a much more premium carpet. That's not to say the nylon isn't a decent quality. We use the best automotive nylon, but simply put, it just doesn't stack up very well against the wool in terms of quality, durability and finish. And a good test to look with carpet is the pile density. For wool, it's very densely piled, and so to the point where you bend it in half like this, you can barely see any of the backing showing through, which is a great sign of good quality carpet. Speaking of the backing, it's a rubber back, which does make it nice. It's a smooth rubber back actually, which does make it a lot easier to fit because it's quite flexible. So bear that in mind. And I do encourage people to really ask for samples from us and also compare to other people's samples, because there's not that many other Triumph specialists out there that offer the same premium grade wool as we do. And I encourage people to do that test where you're bending it over the carpet. Bending it over, because it really does see the backing. I know the other wool that other companies use, and it's chalk and cheese in comparison to ours. We've used our same wool for over 4 decades now from the same supplier. It's the same stuff that we use for all of our Jaguar restorations as well, so keep that in mind. This specific carpet has been done in what we refer to as pale shadow blue. Shadow blue was an original colour for Triumph. We call it pale shadow blue to save any confusion. Shadow blue, for people that aren't particularly familiar with original colours, might sound like it's a dark blue because of the word shadow. So we put pale in there because actually it's a fairly pale blue, as you can see. And we've edged it in Leathercloth, as we do all of our carpets. It's worth checking out my other video and my blog handbook post about Leathercloth edging. It's akin to what they originally used during the era, sort of 1950s, 60s, 70s, otherwise referred to as Vinide or Rexin. Other companies out there use vinyl for edging their carpets, and it's not particularly suitable because, one, it's a bit bulkier and bigger. It kind of tends to wrinkle up a bit more, and it just, in my opinion, looks out of place. And these are the little details that we go to that's given us a reputation that we've got globally for the quality and workmanship of our kits, so bear that in mind. Now, with the binding of carpets, you'll see that some of them are bound all the way around, others are not. That is done on purpose. So we edge our carpets, one, to how they kind of did them in the factory, but then certain elements we might have tweaked and improved. And the idea with unbound edges is that they're never on show when everything's said and done. So they're either tucked underneath the adjacent edge of a panel, or they're tucked underneath the adjacent bound edge of a carpet. So a good example is these sill carpets here, which have no binding, a tiny bit of binding on the back edge there, but no main binding on it. And that bottom edge there will go down the sill, tuck onto the floor underneath, and sit underneath the front floor carpet, which is edged. The top edge there, any of it that's on show, gets tucked underneath the sort of door panel draft excluder section. Same with these sort of gearbox pieces here. You get a couple of bits of edging on sort of front and back, but on this handbrake prop shaft area here, again, the left and right edges will get tucked underneath the adjacent rear floor carpets, which are edged. And with that, we've also updated our sort of patterns and designs to get better fits. So what we do on all of these pieces is we make them wider than they need to be to allow you to roll it down the circumference of the gearbox and tuck it right underneath the carpets. It means that when everything's said and done and the jigsaw's kind of put together, everything fits seamlessly together between the carpets. So it allows for a bit of movement between the carpets when the car is actually being used. It allows for, should we say, the idiosyncrasies and individualities of each car during the very inconsistent production era. So do keep that in mind. And it's also worth keeping in mind that during the fitment process, we've had people say put the front floors in just on their own without any of the gearboxes, and they'll make comments that, oh, it's not touching the gearbox, etc., etc. And that's because they haven't put the jigsaw puzzle together yet. But when everything's said and done in the car, it works absolutely brilliantly. It's worth noting at this stage that my father has a TR5 and has had one all of my life, and therefore he's got this exact carpet set in his car. In fact, it is shadow blue in his car. So we know it works very well because literally the founder of this business has the exact carpet set in his car. But all you need to do is spend a bit of time on the club forums and things like that and realise the reputation for quality and workmanship that we have. Do not assume that other suppliers are supplying, one, the same quality materials, but two, have the same accuracy of patterns and knowledge of these cars. They simply do not, and that's why we've got the reputation we do. So don't get swayed by prices and sales, flash sales. It's pointless overall when you're restoring a car. You should always look to put the best fitting products in your car, and we offer that. Anyway, enough on that. Let's get started on this actual carpet set. So it's specifically a right-hand drive set, as you can see, dominated by the heel pads on the right side of the car. Left-hand drive is exactly the opposite, basically. There is no difference in the actual patterns of the carpet set. It's simply where the heel pads go. So the heel pad will be on that side there, on that side there, and the front floor would have one there. Now, if you wanted them on both sides, that's absolutely fine. Just let us know. Otherwise, we will automatically revert to whatever hand you have and making it to that specification. So bear that in mind. Let's start at the front of the car. So we've got in the sort of over the gearbox tunnel at the very front there, the kind of firewall element pieces there, two pieces of carpet sewn together, ready to be fitted into the car. Then you've got the clutch housing front gearbox section there. So that goes underneath the dash. It kind of loops over like that. And it's got a heel pad on the driver's side inside area there for the sort of left foot to rest against. I think you can just about make it out. There you go. Perfect. So it's that piece there that goes over the gearbox either side. I don't think we're getting any better pictures than that. So that's that piece there. Then you have the sort of, I guess, the underneath the H-frame dash support carpet piece there. So it's pre-cut, there's no edging on it. It's obviously got the cutaway there for where the gear stick comes out, and it sits underneath this H-frame support, center console support underneath there. So that's that piece. Then you have the A-post footwell kick panels. You get a pair of them. Now, in the carpet set, we supply them as standard with just the carpets for the A-post kick panels, but for an optional extra cost, which most people go for, we can supply them fully trimmed up, ready to be installed in the car with the hardboard panel on the back of it there. That's obviously the right-hand one there. You can kind of see the curvature of the door there as it sits on the vertical on the outside of the car. So you get a pair of those. Like I say, as standard in the carpet set, they are supplied just for carpet. We can sell the hardboard panels separately, or as most people go for, just ask us to trim them up in hardboard and we can do that for you. So you get a pair of those as well in the set. You've got the sill covers down the left and right side, so that's effectively where the door panel is, and they are pre-cut. They have a bit of binding on the back edge here where the B-post sort of gusset panel sits, and then they get normally a piece of vinyl that's sewn onto it that then loops around and underneath the bodywork there. This has actually been done in leather because the gentleman that this kit's for has done a full leather kit, including full leather door panels. So we wanted to tie everything in. Obviously, for any leather pieces like that, we would automatically skive them down if it's suitable to do so, which those bits are. Skiving is the process of thinning leather down. It takes the backing, cuts a bit of the backing off the leather to make it thinner and more pliable to that area. So just to show you in the book here, these are the kind of sill bits here. So a lot of that is lost on both sides effectively. especially this bottom edge here, which tucks down onto the floor and underneath the front floors, as I was mentioning before. Grab this book while I move back. We've also then got, obviously, the front floors. So you get a left-hand front floor and a right-hand front floor. They are bound all the way around apart from on the front edge, and it's worth noting that the way the front floors were designed on these TRs was you effectively had the footwell area, and then it went up and made the kind of toe board area into the engine bay. And then we sew darts into ours, as you can see here, and then on one side, on the right side here, and that is to give it its natural kick to sit up for the toe board section there. Again, that's a subtle but important difference between our sets and other companies out there who do not bother doing that, but it really does make it nice and easy to fit into the car, get a nice and cleaner finish in that area. So like I say, pair of front floors. Obviously it's right hand drive, so it gets the big rubber heel pad on the driver's side. Left hand drive would have obviously its own version of that there. The rubber heel pad is a ribbed rubber, same stuff that we use for these D rubbers here, which go on the gearbox here and on the kick panels on the side there. Then we've got the rear floor carpets, which are literally a pair of carpets bound all the way around. It has obviously the cutaway there, which is where the sort of wheel arch and quarter panel sit there, and yeah, a pair of those bound all the way around. Then you've got the prop shaft handbrake cover here. So this is, here you can see one there, the handbrake on. We've got any others? Yeah, there we are. So that is that piece there. This is the, yeah, perfect back edge of it all there. So that's that piece. It's get edging on the front and back, and then you get a handbrake gauntlet cover sewn into it. This one again has been done in leather to match the gentleman's seats, and obviously we just supply the handbrake cover already pre-sewn into it. We normally match it up to the edging, but obviously say if you've gone for a completely different coloured carpet to your seats, then we'll talk to you and see what you want to do, whether you want to match the seats. It's worth noting as well, we do our centre bits a lot different to a lot of the companies out there that do a thick border. I think ours look absolutely beautiful, very neat and tidy, whereas a lot of the other ones that have this thick border on there are, I think, a bit messy and cumbersome. It's also worth noting as well that a lot of other companies out there do theirs standardly in black, which again I think looks out of place if it's a coloured interior, so just bear that in mind. We do not try and standardise absolutely everything just to make it easier for us to mass produce. We do every kit individually, tailored to your exact individual needs of your car. So like I say, this one's been done in leather. Talk to us about what material you want yours doing in. As standard, we'd normally just do them in vinyl, unless you're getting a full kit from us from full leather, in which case we just upgrade you automatically. But more than happy to talk to you about the options on that one, so let us know. Then moving slightly back, I'll skip this item and I'll come back to that item as well. We've got the kind of rear shelf and lower bulkhead area of the car, which then intertwines with the diff hump. So this is obviously at the back of the car. It's this section here, this rear shelf, as you can see. So it folds down. It's on the horizontal there, and it folds down, tucks in. It's got the cutaway there, obviously, for the gearbox tunnel, and then it's got the cutaway here for the diff hump. And then you get this actual piece of material for the diff hump here, which very neatly finished around there. That obviously gets installed first, and then that overlaps it. Same sort of concept that I've said all the way, where we make sort of unbound edges a bit bigger than they need to be, so that everything ties in nicely together. But then the outside edges are bound. It's worth noting as well, I've seen some absolute horror trimming jobs where people have obviously not used one of our kits, and some of these pieces look absolutely terrible. So it is worth spending a bit of time looking through our galleries. Everything is standardized cut on our in-house CNC machine, which I'm doing this video on here. We've used the same templates and patterns for decades. Like I say, my father's literally got one of these cars, so he knows how it all fits in correctly. And we're the sort of suppliers to the very premium global restoration companies, people like Macy's Garage over in Ohio, who do, you know, arguably some of the best TR restorations in the world. We supplied their kits for donkey's years. So really do keep that in mind with these sorts of things, especially Triumph. Triumph is our bread and butter. It was the TR range, was the range that my father first started out in. So bear that in mind. So yeah, that's effectively those last bits there of the main carpet set. Any other items here are effectively optional extras. So let's start with the gear lever gaiter, or boot gaiter as our American cousins call it. Now obviously that is the part that sticks out of the H-frame at the front of the car, the dash support. There's the gear stick coming out of it, which annoyingly you can't see in any of these photos. That's a TR4. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't actually have a gear lever gaiter on it, but it's the gaiter that comes out of there for the gear stick there. Now, not included as standard in the carpet set, but dependent on the colour scheme that you're going for, it may be worth considering buying one at the same time. We've done this one in pale shadow blue, smooth leather to match the handbrake seats panels that this gentleman's gone for. So worth considering that. Obviously, a lot of the dash areas on these cars are kept the original black shade, as per this here. So look, there's a gear lever gaiter. So a lot of people just keep that black, so therefore null and void when you're coming to do a carpet set, unless your carpet set's black. But thought I'd mention it as a potential thing that you may wish to consider at the same time. Then we've got this rear prop shaft interior light cover. Now this was only fitted to a small number of the TR6 models, and thankfully we have a photo, I believe, showing one here. You can just about make it out. So it's on effectively this rear prop shaft handbrake thing cover. They had a light plinth, so it's literally a light that you could have in the back of your car, and we have a cover, pre-sewn cover, that you can use to trim over the top of that. Now we can offer it in moquette, which I think is the best way to go, because moquette is effectively a thin short pile and backed wool carpet material that was originally used, say, by Jaguar during this era for the backs of their seats and wheel arches and things like that. And it makes sense because it kind of sits directly next to the carpet, so it all ties in. But we can also offer it in vinyl or leather if you prefer, so do talk to us about that. But that's potentially something you might want to consider if you happen to have one of the TR6s that has that cover fitted to it. So bear that in mind. Then the obvious other part you might want to consider is this handbrake tunnel board for the prop shaft. That literally sits underneath that. This is the cutaway here for the handbrake. It's done in hardboard, although it's marine and automotive grade hardboard. So water resistant, but definitely not waterproof. Now I realise that there is I think a fiberglass option of those available on the market, which I think are very worthwhile and whatnot. We do not offer that. We offer it as original, which is the sort of hardboard material there. Worth considering. But if you're going for a fiberglass one, I'd just go with fiberglass. In all honesty, the hardboard is old hat, should we say, in terms of the material side of it. You then also should consider the carpet fixings, which are sold separately to the carpet set. And they're a 4-piece kit. Obviously, you get multiple of each of them. But effectively, these are the bits that pop rivet onto the bodywork of the car. And then you pierce these pieces through corners of or relevant places of the carpet into the back underneath there, bend it round, and then effectively that then pops into that on the floor and keeps everything in place. So we always recommend you get a carpet fixing kit at the same time. We can give you help and advice on the areas to put those fixings, because they're, should we say, semi-standardised? It depends on the location of the male fittings sometimes on your car, so bear that in mind. Then we'd recommend you get one of our under-carpet soundproofing kits. Now, we only use the sort of basic and original natural jute felt for the soundproofing. Other companies out there, or rather you can get modern-day equivalents such as Dynamat, Dodo Matting, lots of brands out there. And they're great, and ours do not stack up in terms of that. Ours are akin to the original material used. But please do consider the thickness of your undercarpet kit. A lot of the modern day ones, although absolutely amazing at blocking out sound and heat, they're very thin. and you need to remember that these carpets were templated and designed to have a certain thickness underneath them. We recommend anywhere between 5 and 10 millimeters. So if your modern day kit has 5 to 10 millimeters of thickness, absolutely fine. You do not need one of our felt kits. But if it's below that, I would recommend getting one of our felt kits as well. And you would put that on top. It's not going to do anything in terms of the additional heat and sound side of it, but it will give the correct positioning for the carpets to fit nicely in the car, and also it gives a nice soft underfoot feel as well. If you do use one of our kits, it's worth noting that the black side faces upwards towards the sky. So that's the felt kit there. And then finally, the other options you might want to consider are the overmats. Sold separately, and we can offer two versions. We've got black rubber, nice and easy to clean down. It's got a rib effect to it, and it's got the TR logo name there. Or you've got the sort of plush nylon kits here, which they're only available in black, and it has Triumph written on it. Both of them have rubber backings on them, and both have sort of spike elements to them that help it grip in place, but they're effectively to put over the top of your front floors to keep them nice and neat and tidy. Obviously the rubber ones are great because you can literally just wipe them down nice and clean, whereas these ones you'd need to hoover, but they're both nice options. This one's obviously a bit more premium, so we can offer those as well, but they are effectively sold separately in pairs, completely separately to the carpet set. I think that covers a lot. So yeah, given a nice overview there, but we're running over 20 minutes at the moment, so apologies if I've babbled on a little bit, but I do like to fit all the details in. Hope you found that useful. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts out there. Of course, do check out the other videos on our channel, and of course check out the related videos at the end of this one. But yeah, let me know if we can assist you with your Triumph TR restoration. If you've got any questions, please do say so in the comments field, or better yet, just contact me directly. I look forward to hearing from you, and thanks for tuning in. See you next time.